What's happening, YouTube? Wadox Studios here. I'm on my lunch break, but I figured I would go ahead and cut a video for 6 released. If you haven't already, go check out the Game from Scratch video. Subscribe to his channel. Awesome dude. Awesome content. He goes over this in detail, so I'm not going to waste your time with that. What I'd like to do is, in the past, I've gone over these RTXGI versus SDFGI for Godot. I have yet to do a VoxelGI video, but I figured this would be a really good time to go over that as well. And in the past, I've done kind of a like how does it stack up for stylized games for the Godot, and we know that open world SDFGI global illumination looks really great and performs really well for stylized games. But today what I'd like to do is we're going to take a look at this map in Unreal. It's called the Big Star Station. It is a bait lighting map. Performs pretty decent in UE5. I'm on 5.7, by the way, which is the latest. And again, this is like reflection probes and fully baked lighting. So one of the first things you'll notice is the lighting in this scene seems a bit off, right? Like light doesn't really propagate this way and cut off harshly like this, especially around emissive surfaces like on this inset here. However, it's still really interesting to look at, and it still does a decent job. The colors are just all wrong based on the emissive values. Yeah, there's a lot wrong with this scene. However, the assets are pretty cool. There's an invisible light coming from somewhere. I don't know. Yeah. So this scene has its fair share of issues. However, it's a really cool asset pack, and I exported it over to Godot, and we're going to go over that. So I'm going to close this out so it's not eating up a bunch of resources. And by the way, this is VoxelGI, so I just wanted to show the GI, how smooth the GI looks. And here in a second when I hit play, you'll see that it's fully dynamic. And as you can see my frame time here, I didn't show you, I feel guilty about that now, but I was getting about 130 something frames even in a fully baked out scene in UE5. But yeah, I have to keep this video a little short and sweet. So anyway, if you want to check out the VoxelGI, this is what I've done. I encapsulated my scene because I wanted to allow the VoxelGI to collect environment lighting, almost like a reflection probe. I didn't want to click this interior, which would ignore pretty much all of the environment lighting, and I would have had to, ran a reflection probe on top of this. So I wanted this scene to collect kind of the ambient reflections off of the environment itself within the VoxelGI, as well as like if you come to this display advanced, you can see the voxelized lighting. So this is the way the light is dispersed after you bake, and you can see the emissives from the reds, etc. Or should I say the lighting from the red lights, etc. And then if you come here and you want to know whether or not your GI is being emitted into the scene, there's also a view mode for VoxelGI emission data. So we'll go back to normal. Anyway, if I tuck myself off in this little corridor here, you can see the light is spilling and propagating in through this doorway here, which looks really, really smooth and really good. You would mistake this for a baked lighting scenario almost. I just tried to do a really good job at light placement, colors of those lights based on what the scene is, positioning, etc. And then you know, volumetrics with the fog, as well as like screen space reflections off of metallic surfaces. So I tried to light this in a way that, again, there's no invisible thing here. I tried to light it in a way that is representative of the emissives in the scene, and match the colors, etc. So yeah, it's not a one-to-one here, but it runs relatively well, as you can see. I'll go ahead and hit play in full screen so we can kind of fly around. I threw together like a little quick camera. By the way, this is MSAA, not TAA, so extremely sharp, you know, anti-aliasing, and no smearing whatsoever, no matter how much I shake my camera, or walk past something. And you can see the real-time reflections here, moving off of this like semi-metallic rough surface, and you can see the GI updates in real time. As it gets closer to the top surface, it'll turn green, and vice versa. And that's the thing about VoxelGI, is it's not as I don't want to say as high quality. It's probably, in my opinion, like a higher quality GI method than SDF GI. So yeah, I mean, that's probably the fall off values on the lighting and the way the lighting is blended, etc., is a much higher quality. And even whenever something goes off screen, you can see the GI on the left. It's not screen space. I don't even have screen space illumination turned on here. So this is all just VoxelGI doing its work. You can see the GI from that light pumping onto the surface of that metallic right there on the bottom edge. And then you can see the way the light is kind of propagating around the corner here and still bleeding into this, or bouncing, should I say, not bleeding, but bouncing into this area over here on the side. But yeah, this, you know, instead of like, how does it stack up against stylized, I would argue that 4.6 is now approaching a realm where it's like, how does this little engine stack up against, you know, more venturing into the realism realm of things. You know, I would argue that this is one of the comparatively speaking, unless you're in UE5.7 running VXGI, this is probably one of the more stable global illumination methods you're going to have that's fully dynamic, that's not baked out. And baking the VoxelGI in this takes about, I don't know, a minute, if that. So extremely impressed with the way things are going with this little engine. It's really performant. The volumetric lighting is extremely cheap. I'm staying over 200 plus frames per second at native res, so no upsampling or upscaling here at all. This is full MSAA native 1080p over 200 frames per second with this scene. So yeah, now that I've brought you through this, let's go 400. Let's go back to that Unreal project really quick, because I want to pull that up and show you. And again, keep in mind that project is fully baked. So we'll load this up. And just so that, you know, we don't say that Godot's eating up any of the resources, we'll go ahead and close that out. So yeah, now we'll hit play here, and then I will full screen, and then I will stat unit, stat FPS, and then we will t.max FPS, and we'll slam that all the way up. So yeah, 125 frames or more. These emissives on these lights are all jacked up, by the way, just noticing that. But yeah, in a fully baked out, I mean, this is light mass GI here. This is, I'm seeing 140 in some places, but it's not that it's bad. Light just would not behave this way. Just the scene is completely lit wrong. But yeah, we'll stop this now. F11, and then what is it? F8. Yeah, F8. So we'll stop this, and let's go look at the world settings, because you guys, I want to make sure that you got the full picture here. Whenever I say, like, this is a baked out scene, I was kind of blown away when I found this out myself. I'm like, why? Like, I don't understand this at all. But yeah, if we go to light mass, you can see there's 10,472 light maps in this scene. So this is a fully baked scene, barely able to break 200 frames in UE5. So there you have it, guys. That's it's not an apples to apples. It is pretty much mesh to mesh. The Godot scene is lit completely different. The entire Godot scene that I showed you guys is VoxelGI with dynamic lights and dynamic shadow casting. And it seems to be more performant than Unreal's statically lit scene. It is what it is. Until next time, hit that like and subscribe button. Consider joining the Wild Ox Studios Discord. Happy developing, and toodles.